Definitely the balance between the pitchers and the position players, just from a number standpoint, having the expanded roster, and what's the best way to look at at least the next 2 weeks. I think, we understand that, we have the 30-man roster for 2 weeks. But, honestly, it should be a pretty fluid situation. So I think the good news for us overall was a lot of players made the decision difficult. Guys had really good camps, and a lot of guys had really good summer camp. It's in an inter squad situation, more of a practice situation. So, but there were some fun conversations in the last 24 hours, some tough conversations with a couple of guys, but overall feel good about the roster that we submitted this morning.
How exciting for you is it to have another young player like Olivares break in your opening day roster?
Yeah, I think just super exciting. I think for just for Edward, a guy that like kind of an under radar sign out of Venezuela for the Blue Jays, and Dom Scavone, one of our pro scouts, made a recommendation on somebody that wasn't considered that top one or two prospect, futures game kind of guy, more of an under the radar player. And just to see what he's done in our system, the work he's done, on his body physically, from a strength standpoint, the quality of at-bats that he's had, really dating back to last year in Double-A, the adjustments that he's made. It's a compliment to Dom on a good scouting job, to our development staff, for developing a player that, guys had, like an interesting, skill set of, toolsy player that, continues to get, more and more refined. And, obviously a big compliment to Edward that he put himself in that position to make the club. So that was one of the fun conversations yesterday for sure. Yeah. I think, for us in terms of exactly how close, I think those guys, I think, they know, and I think, they know that they have one more work to do, that they're not quite ready. And, I think, again, they, Patino and McKenzie specifically, again, with the nature of the spring training, it was, a couple of 2-inning bursts and you're trying to make some decisions. So, they didn't have the luxury of going out there and getting a ton of innings here over the course of the last few weeks. But I think they'll be the first ones to tell you that they still have some more developing to do, some more, refining to do what they're trying to do. And again, I think the message to both of those guys is, when you come back here, hopefully you're coming back to stay, and you're coming back to be, part of a winning group, and you're contributing to a team that's winning. And, they'll with those two specifically, they'll go to USD and, continue to work. I know they're going to, they'll work very hard and continue to develop and get better. And this is where they want to be. And we'll see how it plays out over the course of the next couple months.
AJ, given the old adage that you don't want to be fooled by spring training, September, or summer camp, how difficult was it? How confident are you that, because you went with the guys who had the best camps over maybe some other guys. How confident are you that you were able to really decipher who was best for this roster?
Yeah, no, I think it's, we get started for real on Friday, so we'll find out in terms of that part of it. I think, like, probably the guy, in Olivares' case, he obviously, played his way onto the roster. But it was a continuation of what we saw in spring training, as well. He did the same thing in March, and I think, honestly, a continuation of what we saw last year in Double-A, a guy that keeps getting better. So, you make decisions based on the information you have. A lot of the information, a lot of the decisions we made was based on what we've been able to know about our guys over the course of years, of being around players for the course, for the last few years, knowing the makeups, knowing the skill sets, knowing the abilities. So I don't think that there weren't, it wasn't a situation where somebody got 2 hits in a game and they got on the team because it's a 60-game season, unless, I think we all know the nature of baseball that, that can change pretty quickly. And the guy that's not hot in spring training, goes out and the first, wears it out in the first month of the season. But, I think in Olivares' case, he definitely played his way onto this club, and I think we're excited to put him on the team. I think with Chris is, just, well deserved. I think, he, I think last year he'll tell you he wanted that opening day assignment last year. So again, I think we We know, we're Diamondbacks right out of the gate. You're facing one of the best teams in the National League. Bumgarner, Ray, Gallen, and Luke Weaver. We've got our work cut out for us. I think, I think we're excited to put somebody that we know is going to compete. We know that, he's going to give us his best effort on Friday. And again, opening day, it's always a fun day, and it's cool to get the season started. Just having Chris in the rotation every 5 days, that's the most important thing. And we honestly probably could have gone a couple different directions with that opening day start, but the way he's gone about things, the way he's performed in the last year, it's a compliment to him and a credit to him and our staff. And we're looking forward to to seeing him take the ball on Friday.
AJ, you've basically spent, I think, probably 4 years putting together this roster from trades and minor league pieces and whatnot. I'm just curious, in a 60-game season, you mentioned the nature of baseball and the small sample size and everything that comes along with it. Like, how can you evaluate your successes and failures knowing all those things this season, knowing that it's a different year and that the small sample size comes into effect?
Yeah, no, I think I was having that conversation the other day, and another GM on another club, he brought that up. Just like the evaluation component of it, how things may be different, for trying to evaluate players in the situation. We've definitely been gearing towards 2020 as the start of something for the organization. The last 4 years has really been building up the talent base to a point that we felt that we had a chance to start to move up the standings for real here this year. I think, at the end of the day, the season's going to be different in terms of the number of games and how we go about doing things. But the goal of trying to win, the goal of putting a very competitive team on the field, the goal of seeing players play really good baseball, that's all the same. I think when we get to the end of the season, then we'll get to that point and could try to figure out what that means going forward with some of the performances that we've seen. But I don't think anything's really changed from the organization standpoint about looking to win, looking to move up the standings, looking to be very competitive and play postseason baseball this year. Nothing's changed on that front.
All right, next we'll go to Marty Caswell.
Hi, AJ. The pandemic might be the biggest equalizer, but since you became GM, you've never had a team finish over 500. If this team with this talent does not at least finish its 500, is that a bit of a failure or a setback for the organization?
I think for us, like, the goal's never been to be 500. I think the goal is to win championships and to play postseason baseball consistently and have a team that you look up and can get to October every single year. So I think that's been part of the process. I think we've talked about it too. It probably could have taken some shortcuts if we wanted just to get to a number and say, hey, we got to 82 games and 82 wins in a season, and that qualifies as a success. I think for us, we've over the last few years, it's been about getting to a team that we legitimately can look ourselves in the eye and feel like look ourselves in the mirror and feel like that team has got a chance to play deep and into the postseason. So yeah, I mean, clearly, we're looking to progress this year. So I think again, I don't think it's about any set number and saying that the season's a failure if we don't get to this point or that point. We've never really been about that. But I think all of us are looking forward to, I think we feel like if our team plays up to its potential that, we're going to have a good club, and exactly what that means and where that goes, we'll let that play out and see how things start, how things go throughout the year. But we're looking forward to a team that we feel good about going into the year.
Hey, AJ, since scouts aren't allowed in ballparks for now, how's your scouting team going to go about evaluating other teams?
Yeah, I think on the pro scouting side, it's I think it'll be a lot of TV video work, for right now. And I think, Major League Baseball said that we'll get through, want to get through opening day and then kind of see how things go from there. So I think our guys are anxious to get back to stadiums and get back to ballparks and get into ballparks to see players. But, I think, in agreement with what Major League Baseball has done. And I think, from our standpoint, just waiting for more feedback, and our guys will be following their organizations closely, reading media reports, looking at video, looking at game films, just doing it a different way, but just still being well versed on the different clubs. And we'll see how things change here over the course of the next few weeks if they're allowed in the ballpark.